Hi, Greg Lewis, MetaStock Software. In just a moment, you're going to see a presentation by Jeff Gibby. Jeff's going to be talking about MetaStock Zenith real-time data and news platform. This is a fantastically full-featured, comprehensive trading analysis platform available to the private trader. You really have to see this thing to believe it, especially at the low subscription price that you can get it at. If you'd like to get a free 1-month trial of MetaStock Zenith, visit metastock.com/futuresradiox or visit one of the links provided. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy the presentation.
Alright, here we go. Alright guys, today we're going to talk a little bit about something a little bit different. It's MetaStock Zenith, and Anthony asked me, a lot of you I know are here from Anthony Crudel's radio show, and he wanted me to kind of just show you the product a little bit, the news product that he likes to use, and kind of show you around. So today we're going to talk about MetaStock Zenith. And I'll just talk for a few minutes about who I am. My name is Jeff Gibby. I've worked for MetaStock now 19 years. In March it'll be 20 years, if you can believe that. So I've gotten old here. It's a great place to work. It's a great company. When I started, we were owned by Reuters, and I started in inside sales, so I talk a lot to anybody that called in and just answer questions they had about the program and the software that we do and that kind of stuff. We're actually no longer owned by Reuters, and right now I'm in charge of our business development globally. So it's a really cool job. I meet a lot of really smart people, and I work with them in terms of what we can do with our software. It takes me on the road a little bit. My trips are pretty cool too. But that's a little bit about me. It's a good company to work for. Like I said, when I started back in, let me do some math, in '97, we were owned by Reuters. So we were owned for Reuters up until about 3 years ago. And we still have a really good relationship with Reuters. The product I'm going to show you today was developed by Reuters. They spent $1 billion on it. They developed it out and designed it out to be a competitive product to compete head-to-head with Bloomberg. And so Reuters is a great company. We have a really good relationship with them. Part of that relationship actually gives us access to MetaStock Zenith. We also do another product here called MetaStock. We're not going to be talking about that today, but it's kind of the product we design out of Utah. And our relationship with Reuters is we take their institutional grade news application and we resell it to power our MetaStock data and programs into the MetaStock data feed. So it's really, really cool. We've got this one. They've spent well over $1 billion on it by now in terms of R&D. Just some numbers from Reuters, and then we'll get into the product. I'm just going to kind of do a demo, show you the things I like to look at it. But some of the numbers behind Reuters is Reuters has roughly around $19 billion in annual revenues. 90% of that is selling news, real-time data. And so that's really what we're going to focus on. This $1 billion product. They sell it to institutions. Our license with our agreement with Reuters basically allows us to sell you very much the same news and information, but at only if you're a retail customer. And it is the place where Anthony gets pretty much all of his news. I know a lot of you from the Anthony Crudell show. So it's pretty much the place where he gets all of his news and all of his information. And it's great. Thomson Reuters has something like 30,000 reporters on the ground. And it's just a huge company. It's a good partnership that we have. So let's take a look at this one, just to kind of give you a little bit of an overview of the presentation today. There's 3 PowerPoint slides. So I'm not a big fan of working in PowerPoint. I don't want to spend a lot of time in PowerPoint. I'm going to show you how to get basically a totally free trial of this product. You can just go to our website at metastock.com/futuresradiox. But I want to show it to you. So let's go ahead and get into it. If you have questions as we go through it, feel free to type it into the questions. I try and keep and pay attention to those as they come in. So. A few things that are kind of important to note. This is my default view. It's going to look similar when you look into it. And when you sign up for your free trial, it's going to ask you, what are you trading? Because Reuters has a lot of information. They cover something like 400,000 tradable exchanges or tradable instruments. So they want to know where you're from, they want to know what you trade, and where your interest in it is. So when I set up my icon, I said I'm from the US. I'm interested in equity and equity options. And so this is the default view that it gave me. Your view might be a little different. If you say that you're trading futures, it's going to kind of show you more of the futures information, what they try and do. And I think what they've done a really good job of is saying, okay, what's important to Jeff Gibby, a stock and option trader. And so that's kind of the display that we're looking at here. Okay. A few things to note right up here. We're going to kind of just talk through some stuff. Right up here you've got a search bar. We're going to come back to this. Here we've got kind of a tab layout. This is your toolbar. Okay. And right now we're going to start with what they call the home screen. I'm just going to walk you through some of this stuff. And you'll notice as a news organization, it's trying to give me the most important news of the day for equities. This is front page. This is the central banks in the global economy. This is the U.S. companies and the European companies. Okay, so it kind of gives you, and you'll notice as you start to look around kind of these main pages of Reuters, everything is kind of clickable. So if I want to see what happened when Trump met Silicon Valley elite after a mutual mistrusting campaign, I can click on this. It'll actually take me to the full story. I can read through it. When I'm done with it, we'll go ahead and go back one page. And in addition to that, it also has other news and other information. But everything is pretty clickable. So if there's something that you want to see, that you want to read, you click on it, you can read the paper, the story, and then when you're done, you can go back. Okay. And this is the main news page, basically. And a couple of things you'll notice over here, if I wanted to kind of get an overview, right now we're on equities, because again, I said I'm an equities trader. If you want to look at foreign exchange information, we can click on foreign exchange. It's going to take you to a different page that's going to give you the top news for foreign exchange. It's going to give you fixed income. It's going to give you what all the rates are looking like. And again, all of these are clickable. So if I click on anything in here, it's going to take me into more information about, in this case, Euro CHF. Okay, going to go back one screen. Over here, there are a few quick links on this page that I want to show you. There's some things that I use very, very frequently. Okay, and one of those is Economic Monitor. Obviously, you know, the Fed's made an announcement today. Looks like it at least temporarily halted the straight up direction we've had in the market for the last several weeks. But there are definitely events that you're going to want to be aware of, and events that can kind of change what the market is thinking in a second. And so to find out what's upcoming or what's been announced or things like that, you can just click on this little Economic Monitor. And when I do that, it's going to open up an application for me, the Economic Monitor application. We'll give it a second or two to load. And here you'll notice at the top I can see economic events. I can see central bank and political events and government debt actions. So let's just look at the economic events. If you're interested in central bank, political events, you can kind of click on these tabs over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of filter this down a little bit. I'm going to show you how to filter this down to kind of see exactly what you want to see. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pop open this toolbar, and you'll notice when I do this, it has all of the regions listed here. There's now, I'm not really too interested personally in what's going on in Bahrain or Bangladesh. What I want to be able to do is just see stuff that's in the U.S. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and type in U, U.S. comes to the very top of the list. I'm going to, let's reset the countries. Okay, let's just do it this way, U.S. Changed it a little bit on me today. Okay, so now we'll just look at the U.S. I'm going to pop that back over. Now we're just looking at the economic events today. And I'm going to go ahead and update my view, so we're just looking at the U.S. events. Okay. And here I can kind of filter down in the economic events. I can say, well, I just want to see what's coming up in the next week. I want to see what's coming up in the next month. I want to see what's coming up in the next 90 days. I can do whatever type of a time frame that I want, and I can also define a custom range if I want. I'm going to go ahead and leave that to the week ahead, anything that's coming up in the next week. Okay. Over here, if you're interested in, you can kind of go in and look for specific event types like agriculture, commodities, or consumer sector. I generally don't do that. Generally what I want to do is I just want to see things that are going to be important to the market. Here we can come in here and you can kind of look at for specific numbers if you want. Again, for me, I'm just interested in those things that can have an impact on the marketplace. What are they and are they coming up? And right here, they've got an ability to look at that. I'm going to basically take out all the ones that are not rated, because those ones that have hardly any impact. I'm going to take out the minor and the immediate ones. I'm going to say which events are coming up in the next week that have a very high impact on the market. And so now I'll update my view. Now, instead of all of those events, I just see the most important ones, and I can see exactly most of them actually came out today. Well, we have CPI coming out, jobless claims coming out on the 15th, and housing starts coming out on the 16th. And you'll notice I can actually add these to a calendar if I want. There's a little calendar thing, so I can actually click on it and it'll add a reminder to my calendar for me. Okay. If I'm interested in kind of any of these numbers, again, I can just click on them. So if I want to see jobless claims are going to come in on tomorrow. So if I go ahead and click on that, it'll go ahead and open up a little bit of a page for me. Okay, and we'll go ahead and let that load up. Expected soon. Okay, and now I can come in here and I can kind of see what jobless claims have looked like historically. But in addition to that, I can see right now you'll see this yellow line is the actual number, the very top yellow line. Okay. Below that is kind of what Reuters polling is suggesting jobless claims will come in at when it updates. And you'll notice yellow doesn't come over to the very far right. It hasn't posted yet. But you can see what the Reuters polling is showing that number is going to be. The Reuters polls out it gets information, and they release a poll number. Okay, and then you can also see what they call their smart estimate. So they're estimating it to be about 254,200. So we'll see how kind of close that is. You can kind of see how that's compared historically, and just kind of gives you some information on that. So that's the economic indicator, the economic events indicator page, and that's what I wanted to show you there. Do you guys have any questions yet? One of the other things I like to look at here is right here we've got back up in these up on these equity quick links. I've got there's an economic indicator chart here, and I just really kind of like to look at kind of some of the values in this because it gives me an idea of how the market is going in general. Kind of helps me build a consensus for the market. So right here, again, I'm going to go ahead and make this full screen so you can see it a little bit better. Here we can select a country, and again, you can kind of pull information anywhere you want. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do the U.S. Okay, and just to kind of give you an idea of kind of some of the broad market indicators, you can look at inflation, you can look at mortgage options, you can look at the AAII sentiment survey, whether it's bullish, bearish, or neutral. You can look at labor force in the market. You can look at air cargo. You can look at balances. There's just tons, just just scrolling through here, there's just tons and tons and tons of stuff that you can look at. You can look at labor cost, you can look at market PMI, and that kind of stuff. So let's say we wanted to take a look at unemployment. Let's just go ahead and type it in here. Since there is, one of the things Reuters really focused on is, since there is so much information, how can we make it easy to find what you're interested in? So if I just search for unemployment right here, everything that actual has unemployment in here will be filtered into the list. And so then I can kind of find out exactly kind of what I'm looking for very, very easily. So usually the one I'll look at is the the standardized month-on-month unemployment, and I'll just add that as an indicator to a chart. Okay. Actually, that's not the one I normally look at. I think I don't want to look at the month-on-month one. Let me go ahead and replace this one. Let's look back in the unemployment here, and just the standardized is the one that I normally look at. Okay, and we can see it's very, very low. Unemployment is still kind of in this downward trend that we've been experiencing since 2009 or so. You can also kind of apply other indicators here. Maybe if you're a foreign exchange trader and you want to compare this to maybe the unemployment rate in the UK, you could, just to kind of get a comparison of how it's doing. You can look at everything from housing starts, Okay, I'll add that as another indicator on the chart. You can really get a good idea of kind of what's going on with housing. Housing starts are up dramatically, unemployment's down. Trey, I read your comment. I think it's funny. I'm not going to say it out loud, though. In any case. It was political in nature. Okay, let's go ahead and close this out. Now everybody's going to ask me what it is. Here we go. Okay, other things that I like to look at. Now you'll notice like I've got front page, I've got U.S. companies, I've got central banks, and I've got European companies. Now European companies wasn't initially in my list, and these are just kind of the top 3 news stories according to Reuters ranking mechanism for the day. Or if I want to change any of these, I can just click on the little check mark here. I could go in and instead of looking at European companies, I showed this to a bunch of people over in Europe. If I wanted to look at other things, I could come in here and basically say, well, let's look at industry news for technology. I save that, and now instead of looking at this, I get a nice picture of Trump. And I have kind of the information on the technology and the media telecoms. Any of these pages will actually take you to all of the stories. So what I mean by that is you'll notice right here U.S. companies is clickable. If I click on U.S. companies, it's going to take me to the main news for the U.S. companies. And I can kind of see what the most important news stories are of the day. GE sticks to 2p EPS target for 2018. Okay, I'm going to go back one page. Okay, and there's a few things that I'd like to actually, as a subscriber to Zenith, there's a few things that you probably want to take advantage of. If I click on front page, it's actually going to show me all of the top news for the day. Okay, all the latest news kind of appears over here. Your most common news happens right here. If I come down over here and if I scroll down a little bit, you'll see there's some newsletters, and these things are really, really good. I'm going to go ahead and click on the day ahead. Okay, and we'll go ahead, and this is just a report. This one's already been updated. It comes out every morning. The day ahead comes out in the morning. Tells you what's coming up. The U.S. Labor Department is expected to show consumer price index rose 0.2% in November. Here's what's happening today. Here's some of the key economic events. Here's some of the things to watch for. So this is posted. It's usually a little bit of a shorter newsletter. It's usually about 3 or 4 pages. Has a section on Canada as well, but just tells you what's actually happening in the markets. It's designed to be a morning briefing. Okay. No, I'm sorry. This is actually posted after the market closes. I was confusing them. The day ahead is the one that comes out every night. Basically comes with a lot of analysis and detail. And it's good to get. You can actually have it emailed to you. You can go in there and subscribe to it, and it'll just shoot it off to your email every day. In the morning, they also do what's called the morning call. If I click on that, this one should be for this morning. This is for this morning, and it's basically telling you Fed set to high rates. Policy outlook now hinges on Trump presidency. You'll notice this one is a lot shorter because they're just kind of telling you what's going on. Any company that's posting a dividend for that day, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Just some really, really cool information. And this is kind of the tools that your hedge funds are using, and mutual funds and banks. The Reuters main client is the banks. We're not allowed to sell this to banks. We can only sell it on a retail level because they are selling it. I see saw a Nintendo story. The fanboy in me actually kind of made me want to read it real quick. In addition to this, obviously it's a really capable real-time screening platform. It allows you to keep track of all of the stuff that you're interested in here, and it allows you to just get news on the stuff that's on your watch list, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. Over here you kind of get a little bit of an overview of the market, and again, if I just want to see what was going on in the Dow today, it was down just about 0.6%. I can actually click on it. It'll actually show me the advancers, the decliners, the volume gainers, all that kind of stuff for the Dow Industrial Average. Show you how the sectors are performing. Everything was down across the board, led by the most energy. Our top movers was Goldman Sachs today. It's up about $1.38. Our bottom movers, Caterpillar, actually fell about 2%, which isn't too bad. Caterpillar's had a pretty good move up. Here we've got the important Dow news of the day, important events happening on the Dow. So there's just a ton of information here. Okay. Also, if you're looking to kind of find a little bit more information about a specific company, we're going to come up here to the search bar. What I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to type in a symbol. Let's do Apple. And I'm just going to go over to their overview page and just kind of show you, here's a great way to kind of get some information on any company that you're interested in. So I just chose Apple because everybody knows Apple. But if I come over here and if I just type in something up in the search box, I can go to an overview page. I can see what the price of Apple is. I can see what the performance looks like. I can see what their valuation is coming in at, what their estimates are going to be for their earnings. I can see what some of the fundamentals are. I can see the news, all kinds of information. And you'll notice up here, we can go to a summary, we can go to a fundamental, we can go to a trading view, you can go to a social media monitor, which is kind of interesting. I might just open it up real quick because it is actually very, very interesting. With the social media monitor, you can go in and see right here, this green line right here tells you how a stock is performing on social media. Okay, the green line means the social sentiment is up. And this line underneath that looks like a volume bar tells you exactly how much Apple is being tweeted out there. And you can overlay that with price to kind of see if there's an impact to social media on the price of the stock. Just very, very interesting. You know, there's so much information in here to try and kind of give you a complete view in an hour or less is kind of a little bit daunting. You're going to be able to find those things that you're interested in, though, and you're going to be able to keep up with it. So that's all the front page, really, and it's certainly not all of the front page. It's more of the parts that I find important. One of the things that you're going to want to be able to do is you're going to want to be able to, set up a little bit of watch lists that you can watch in real time. You're going to want to be able to see what news is happening on that watch list, and you're probably going to want a little bit of a chart and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to show you how to do that and how to set up exactly the watch list that you're interested in. So you'll notice up on the other side of this bar, I've got North America right here. Okay, I've got something called Commitment of Traders Report. I've got FX Trader, Spot Trader, and I can switch between these kind of at will. And I can customize these to look exactly the way I want to. So this is one that I've been working on. Okay, over here, this is just a commitment of traders report. Okay, this is an FX spot trader, but I can keep these open, and this can span multiple displays. I generally keep it on one display, but if I clicked on North America, I could have on my second monitor over here, I could have a whole page of other information that's available. Okay, and what you may want to do as you're starting off on your trial with this is play with some of the built-in ones. There's a lot of really good built-in views that you can look at that can kind of give you an idea of how stuff works in here. So for example, if I click right here, I can come in here to the template workspaces. I can look for stuff in commodities, foreign exchange, fixed income, equities, cross-asset, asset management, banking and research, and economics. Okay, but if I wanted to open up maybe just like an equities page that's already built for me, I could actually open up this equity Ameris. We'll just open it up. I'm not really sure what it's going to see. You'll notice now this page is going to open up. Okay. Over here we've got a list of kind of the S&P 500 stocks. Okay. We've got a little bit of a chart of the SPX. We've got all of the news that happened on the S&P 500 today. And here we've got what they call the time and sells in the blended order book, and this allows us over here to look at volume at price. I can look at the calculated volume weighted average price. I can look at volume. I can look at exactly what volume happened at what price. So there's some pretty cool stuff that's even over here. The thing is all of this is linked. So if I click on, let's say, Apple, everything is going to update. The chart is going to update. All of the news, here's that Nintendo story again. Here you've got what volume happened today at what price. Okay, and here you've got your, you can go in and see where the trades are coming through, what your volume at price is, and your calculated volume weighted average prices. It's just so much really good information in here. Of course, you can set these up exactly the way you want. This is a tick chart. I can click right here. I'll see a daily chart of the Apple. And anytime I want to kind of see this, anytime anything new comes in, it's going to automatically tick in here. Okay. To set up a new chart, you'll notice this is S&P 500. There's a grid up here of Dow Industrial. So if I click on that, it's going to go to just the Dow stocks. And I can kind of see what's going on in the Dow. If I click on the Dow Industrial Average, it'll update and show me kind of the volumes and that kind of stuff as well on that. So very flexible platform. Once you kind of get familiar with kind of some of the things that are available, you probably want to Trey had a bunch of questions. That's why I paused for a second. What type of trader would use Zenith as opposed to MetaStock DC? Okay, well, let's see. People that so that's a really good question. I'm going to do I'm going to give my Eagle Scout effort on it. Generally, we do have traders that use Zenith is such a different product than MetaStock DC. So with Zenith, basically, Zenith's included with MetaStock RT as well. So a lot of people will get Zenith. We attract a lot of people because Reuters is famous. They'll come and they'll find out that they can get Reuters news from us, and they'll just sign up for the news and the data and that kind of stuff. And so what I kind of use it for is, as you know, Trey, I'm a very technical trader. I mean, that's what I do. I love technical analysis on charts and stuff like that. But generally, I look at the news, particularly the economic events, to kind of build a bias around the marketplace. And I think news is important because it can move the market. It stopped the bull in its tracks today. We'll see if that trend resumes tomorrow. But today we obviously had a very major down day after like this huge run up. And that I would say is a little bit maybe overdue. But it's just we get a lot of people that just want to be able to look at the technicals, let me say the fundamentals, the news, that information, and we attract a lot of customers that way. So it's kind of it's like an apples oranges comparison. But I would say somebody that's looking to be well informed about what's going in the market is a client that would want to use Zenith. Okay, it is available as a subscription. Everybody that has MetaStock RT actually has access to Zenith because it's literally the data feed. Okay, but you can also get Zenith just by itself as a subscription. We don't, but see, one of the things that we don't have is access to the mobile app. Okay, COT is really good too if you're doing futures. Yes, I agree with that. Icon does not translate the headlines that are in Chinese that I'm aware of. It might, but you can also read them out. Carlos says, man, this got to cost a shiny penny. It is not that bad. We have an FX-only version that includes real-time foreign exchange and all of the news that goes for $99 a month. Okay, or if you want a real-time version that has real-time stocks and equities, it's $150 a month. To put that in comparison, that's about 10% of what I understand Reuters charges their banks and their institutions from it. So, in other words, I think they're charging like $1,500 a month per hedge fund user. With us, because we only target the retail trader, we can give it to you for $150 a month. So it's not bad at all. And I'm glad you're impressed with it. That question says, man, this thing looks cool. So I guess I'm doing a good job of showing it to you. Let me show you let's look at the time real quick. We're doing all right. I want to show you kind of how you can create your own pages. Because you'll want to be able to do that. The built-in pages are a great starting place, but ideally what you're going to say is, here are the stocks I'm interested in. Help me keep informed of the news that's going on those. Help me look at the charts that are going on that and that kind of stuff. So you can create your own page, and you can use what Reuters calls any of the Reuters apps in that page. So let's go ahead and create one. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to click back over here on this button. I'm going to go ahead and click on New Workspace. Oh, went back to the PowerPoint. Okay. And what I'm going to do, and you'll notice right now it's just a total blank workspace. Okay, I'm going to rename this. Okay, that's why I went back into my PowerPoint. I'm going to rename this just demo template. Okay, I'm going to save that as a name. And now anything I put on here from the application library is going to stay here. It's automatically. It stores it in the cloud for you, and you can set up anything that you want. Okay. So to get to the apps that are available, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this. It's called, the technical name for this is called an orange Helios. So I'm going to click on the Helios here, and it's going to open up different apps that I can look at. Okay. So if I click, there's apps that I can use for like the homepage. That homepage is actually an app, the first thing that we were showing you. Okay, I can just see a quote, I can do a quote list, I can do a news monitor, I can do time and sales, I can do snapshot. If you click through here, there's different apps that we can use. Okay, so let's start with, obviously the first thing we're going to start with, what makes most logical sense for me is, let's build out a quote list. So right here I'm just going to open up a quote list app. Okay, and now I can either, you notice I have tons and tons of different quote lists, and there are ones that are built in for me. I'm going to go ahead and send that call to voicemail because I can't get to it right now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's just create a new quote list. So this will be just list, so to match our demo. Okay, and now when I do that, first the PowerPoint, I might actually just kind of get rid of that for a second. So we can come back to the PowerPoint, but since the PowerPoint's in full screen, every time I click off of it, it goes to full screen mode. And here I can just put in the symbols that I'm interested in. Okay, so let's start with the major market index. I think these are pretty cool. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the Dow Industrial Average. Okay, so type in .dji right here, and you'll notice this little triangle right here. If I click on that, I can actually get real-time updates on everything in the Dow. Okay, just by putting the symbol at the top there. And then when I'm done looking at that, I can click on that little arrow and all of those go away. Pretty cool. Okay, so I'm going to also do the S&P. Okay. Again, Now if I click on that, I can see all of the 500 stocks in the S&P, but if I just want to see what the index is doing on average, I can leave it there. Okay. Let's put in a couple of stock symbols. We'll go ahead and type in Apple. You'll notice that it searches for me automatically. There are a lot of different options that are available with Reuters just because of the market coverage that they have. What we want is a no NASDAQ. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that option. We'll go ahead and do IBM, Microsoft, and you just type it in. And if you need more rows, you can add more rows and that kind of stuff. But it's pretty easy to do. I didn't see that tooltip. I had to read it. Oh, sure, we can add Tesla. For you, Tesla. Okay. And so we can kind of build a list of the stocks that we really kind of want to follow. Maybe these are stocks that are in your portfolio or just things you want to keep an eye on, right? And of course, right here, we've got name, we've got last, we've got percent change, we've got net change, we have close, we've got what currency it's traded in and what asset class it is. If I click on here, there's other columns that I can add to this very, very easily. I can add the open, the high, the low, the volume. And if I want to get really, really specific, this is kind of the dumb, let's add the bid. Okay, and then it'll put the bid on there for me. If I want to get really, really specific and kind of look for different things in real time, I can actually right-click on the header here, and I can go to column. I could go to add remove columns. I click on the More button, and it's going to open up a whole menu of different things that I can have updating in real time. And like I can have it show earnings. I can have it show earnings estimates. I can have it show broker recommendations. There's about 800 fields or so that you can actually update in real time, whether those are economic events or even MACD values and stuff like that. Anything you want to be able to put and follow on a real-time basis, you can actually just add here. Okay, I wanted to show that to you. I'm not going to add anything, but I wanted to show you that because right now you're just looking at last, percent change, net change, and the close price. You can do whatever you want, and it will update it every time the data is refreshed. So obviously, if you're looking at earnings, it'll show earnings there. It's obviously going to open up once a quarter or every time earnings is reported. If you want to look at what the MACD value is, you can do that stuff like that. It's very, very flexible. Okay, let's go ahead and open up another application because I'm going to go ahead and open up a little bit of a chart object. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do that. It defaulted to Tesla because, and you'll notice I can put this anywhere I want to, and once I kind of put it where I want it to go, it kind of merges them together into the same type. It kind of has a little bit of stickiness. So now I can, if I decide I want to move this to the other side of the screen, I can just move it to the other side of the screen. What it's trying to do is take advantage of all of the real estate. Okay. Now, since Tesla was the last stock I actually typed in, that's the chart that I'm getting. But to link this, in other words, if I click on Apple, I want to see a chart of Apple. And so I can link this. And to do that, what I do is I just click on this link. I click on blue right here. I click on this link and I click on blue right there. And now these are linked together. So now if I want to look at IBM, I can go ahead and click on, click on IBM. Double click, which is what I did, which brought up the quote window. But then it's going to show me that now those things are linked together. Okay. If I want to do a news monitor, which I'd recommend, I can go ahead and click on this. I'm going to go ahead and open up News Monitor. Okay, this is just a news display. Again, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of size it where I want it. I want it to be right about here. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is the same thing. Now, right now, it's giving me the Microsoft. I'm going to link this to blue. So now, when I click on one of my stocks, it's actually going to give me that particular stock. And if there's an update to Tesla, like if a news story comes in, it'll actually show that to you. And again, just like before, if you see a headline that you want to read, go ahead and click on it. It'll go ahead and open up that news story. It'll show you, you can read it, and then you just close it when you're done. So very, very easy to do. Okay, let's do a couple more, just for, there's a couple that I kind of want to show you as well. Let's do a time and sales. So I'm going to go ahead and open up time and sales. I'm going to put that right here. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is move it to exactly where I want it to be. Make it exactly the same size. Now all of this is linked together because it kind of has this sticky link that it uses kind of automatically. So now I want to kind of make these a little bit thinner because there's one more app I want to show you. But now I have that time and sell, so I can go in and see what the time and sells we're looking at. I can see what volume came in at what prices. I can see kind of the volume weighted average price or the volume at price. Any of that kind of stuff is available. One of the applications that Kelly showed me, this was probably about a year ago and I use it all the time, is called the Sidebar app. And if I click on the icon right here and I go down to Sidebar, I'm going to go ahead and put this. This is designed to be a sidebar. Okay, so I'm going to kind of put it over here on the side. I'm going to make it take the whole side. It actually needs to be a little bit bigger, so let's make some room for it. And you'll notice everything is kind of moving around rather smart. Okay. But now, what I want to do is I want to actually link this also to blue again. Okay. And now, what you'll see is when I click on Dow, all of the headlines updates. There's not anything that's available for Dow, but I can also see how all of my list is performing, what went up today, what went down. I can see what sector they're in and the sector performance. Anything that pertains particularly to anything on my list, if it's an economic release, will be listed right here. And it's also going to tell me about upcoming earnings event for anything that's on my list as well. So any upcoming events that come out. If I click on a specific stock here, it's going to actually show up for a stock. I can see what the earnings are, what the estimates are, when the actual dates are coming in, and that kind of stuff as well. So it's a pretty nice little sidebar app. It allows you to kind of, okay, well, tomorrow Apple's coming out. Maybe I want to tighten up my stop on the position, that kind of stuff. It's a really, really capable program. Phew. Okay. All right. So that kind of was what I wanted to show you about it. It's a fantastic application. Anthony, notice you came in here today. Welcome. Welcome. Anthony, I do want to thank you for inviting everybody in. Anthony said to make sure I told you all that it's the only source of news that he has. I hope I got that right. So in any case, what I would like you to do, and my goal today was just to kind of give you, I know it's a very, very comprehensive program. I'm going to need to restart my PowerPoint. It is something that they spent a lot of time and a lot of money developing. It is something that literally our institutional traders, the people that get this from Reuters, pay many, many times for. And we have a lot of training that's up on our YouTube channel. I can show you where that is. But what I'd like you to do is just sign up and try it out for a month. I'm going to let you have it for a month for free. Pricing starts at $99 for the delayed package that includes real-time Forex. If you sign up for any of the real-time packages, it's $150 per month. This allows you to try it for free. If it's helpful, you can go ahead and continue to use it. And let me show you where those and let me show you just how this works. If you have questions, specific things that I didn't cover, or you just want to have somebody send you an information package, give us a call. We have a sales staff here. You can reach them at 800-882-3040. And if you have questions for me, feel free to email me, jeffrey.gibby@metastock.com. Okay. Let me show you some of the training we have to help you get started. I'm going to go ahead and open up a internet browser, and I'm going to point it to youtube.com/metastock. Okay. Let me go ahead and push this over onto the right screen here. Okay. And right here, so this is our YouTube page. If I come down just a little bit, so it's going to be 1, 2, is our third category down. If you click on this, it's going to give you all kinds of information about how to set up option watches, the equities guide, the economic monitor. I actually showed this a lot. The reason I kind of wanted to show you this is there's a lot of stuff that we just don't fit into an hour. But this will kind of show you how to put together all of the apps, how to use some of the different apps that are available in the product. It's a fantastic program. It was $1 billion plus well spent. So go ahead and try it out. There's not really much of a risk there. It's a great source of news and information. arguably probably one of the best places for news on the planet. You can get your trial at metastock.com/futuresradiox. And then Anthony said, it is the best and I highly recommend everyone try it. So, what are you waiting for? Anyway, I do want to say thanks again for Anthony. Thanks for all of you that came out to spend 45-50 minutes to go through it with me. And does it have a video? Yes, it has lots of videos. In fact, that's a really good question. If I go back into it real quick, let me just go back to that. I think I saw one here. See all these little video icons? Those are videos. This one's from Reuters Insider. They also have CNBC ones. Has all kinds of videos in here. It is, Anthony. I'll make sure to get a copy of the recording to you. Any last minute questions? Okay, guys, I'm going to try and beat the traffic then. I'm going to try and get home before the snow comes down. Metastock.com/futuresradiox. If you have any questions or anything I can help you with, just drop me a message at jeffrey.gibby@metastock.com. You can also sign up if you have some questions that you just want to talk about pricing and kind of how everything works. You can call. We have a very dedicated, good, non-pressure sales staff. You can call them at 800-882-3040. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you guys soon.